Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator, actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. And that's the sound of me taking a screenshot. This is Let's Play Umineko, When the Seagulls Cry. George Nissan, it's been so freaking long. Ah, Jessica Chan, it's been a year since I saw you. You've gotten taller again, haven't you? Yeah, don't give me that, it's embarrassing when you say it every year. Hey, Aniki, you've got to be kidding me. Is that really Jessica? Wait a sec, George? Is this big guy Battler? We both stared at each other. She definitely didn't look like that in my memories, but I do remember her crazy way of talking. Yo, Jessica! What's this now? You're kidding me, you look like a woman now. What's these? Boobs? Even you managed to get a chest. Hee, let me rub 'em, let me. Don't screw around with me, I'm blushing flower of 18. Of course my hair grew long and I got these. What, you think I got boobs just to get fondled by you, loser? And so, speaking of you, sure, you got all the ridiculously huge, but did you get a bit stronger too? Don't screw with me, I'll show you how much training I've done since back then. You're pissing me off. I'll beat you at your own game. This headstrong girl's name is... She was born under the same unlucky star as me, sharing the same kind of weird name. Anyway, is pronounced Jessica. She's Dad's older brother's daughter. That older brother happens to be the oldest son of the Ushiromia family. So now it means Jessica is the direct family heir. Since Jessica and I are the same age, it sometimes had little boy-girl squabbles with each other. We've always been used to fighting and joking around together whenever the relatives gather. Jessica grew more quickly, so she always had me beat in terms of size and physical strength. When we scuffled in a contest of strength, it usually went Jessica's way. So even though I realized I'd grown bigger, part of my mind was still convinced that I couldn't beat Jessica. Whoa, what the? What are you getting all serious for? Oh, hey, this is nothing. Jessica, you've gotten weak. Just shut up. I'm a girl, so of course I couldn't beat a guy with physical strength forever, right? Well, you've got a point there. The meat I put on my arms all went to your chest. It looks like I'd be a pretty even test of strength between my arms and your boobs, don't you think? I told you, my boobs aren't for you to feel up. Besides, how about you? Did your cute little elephant son get a bit bigger to go with the rest of you? Stop it, idiot. No, you perv. I'll be ruined for marriage. Don't touch my crotch. Don't say stuff people are going to misinterpret. Honestly, I was so surprised how feminine Jessica had become that I had to joke around like an idiot to hide it. Well, considering what a bossy brat she was 6 years ago, anyone would be surprised. And I guess she's just as surprised. She probably wasn't expecting to lose to me in a test of strength. After losing that easily, she must be shocked at how much I've grown in the past 6 years. 6 years. Once again, I'm being shown just what a huge gap of time that was. Crap. Total defeat. It's like I'm no match for you anymore. That's not true. Even Battler-kun must have his weaknesses. Right, Maria-chan? Ooh. Fall. Shh. Cut it out, Maria. Let's keep that a secret, okay? Fall? The hell are you talking about? Sorry, but there's no chance you'll see that weakness of mine now. After all, the nightmare plane trip is already over and done with. Only thing left is a nice, quiet splashing of the boat ride. I never thought I'd start loving that piece of junk boat this much. Huh? George Nissan, is there something wrong with his head? You'll understand soon. Very soon. At the time, I didn't get what Aniki meant by that big smile. What have we here? Ooh, Battler-san, how big you've grown! Who's it this time? It's an old lady with an apron. Oh yeah, that takes me back. I don't know why I suddenly became Randy Savage. I remember now. You remember her, right? It's Kumasawa-san, the servant. I can never forget you, Kumasawa Ba-chan. After all, you haven't aged a bit in these past 6 years. If anything, I say you're looking younger than ever. Oh ho ho! Lately my skin's been getting quite smooth and silky. And look, hasn't my chest gotten bigger as well? How'd you like a little feel? You're kidding, right? My breast fondling is strictly limited to bouncy girls. Oh, I was quite bouncy in my youth. Don't be shy, fondle to your heart's content. Yeah, give me a break. It's girls I'm looking for, not grannies. The jokes I'd cracked about Jessica were being turned against me. Come to think of it, Kumasawa has always been the type to tease people. Kumasawa-san, stop that now. People with one foot in the coffin shouldn't jump around. To sport with the young is the most rejuvenating medicine. Oh ho 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 ho. It's rare for you to come pick us up, Kumasawa-san. I wonder what's gotten into you. Usually, your lumbago kicks in whenever someone gives you a job to do. I think that's a back condition, isn't it? Giggle. Oh ho ho ho, Eva-sama, you're as harsh as ever. I found myself with some urgent purchases to make, and while I was at it, I thought I would come welcome you all. Although, it does give a bad impression if the one waiting to greet you is a decrepit old woman. Oh ho ho ho. Aunt Eva spoke sarcastically, but Kumasawa Ba-chan's years of experience were nothing to sneeze at. She was more than capable of smoothly and coolly deflecting that comment. Well, it feels bad to say, but old Kumasawa Ba-chan may be past her prime as a servant. She might act as though she's in good health, but between the headaches and her lumbago, her body is wearing out. To tell the truth, the very fact that she's still working is impressive. How old is she this year again? She must be pushing 80 at least. Most people don't even live that long. It's incredible that she's still able to act so cheerily. You just seem to get more and more lively. Oh, that's right, here you are. It's the tea I told you about before. Look, I bought you some. Please, do try it later on. Aunt Rosa took a souvenir bag out from her suitcase. To think that she remembered a promise that she had apparently made last year and faithfully bought it. This sort of thoughtfulness was just like Aunt Rosa. Do you guys say aunt or aunt? She wasn't the kind of person who would forget or break a promise. Kumasawa Ba-chan seemed deeply touched. Not only that Aunt Rosa had remembered this year-old promise, but that she would bring a gift to a simple servant like her. This woman is Kumasawa Chiyo-san. She's a senior servant who's been working at the Ushiromiya head family household for many years. As you'd expect from someone her age, manual labor isn't her strong point, but she's a kind of super servant who can handle just about anything else. From kitchen work to cleaning and laundry. It seems like her only flaw is a tendency to slack off. I hear she tries to get away from heavy or troublesome work by playing up her chronic diseases. I think that's just understanding your limitations. In Kumasawa Ba-chan's case, this was probably a sign of craftiness rather than laziness, though it probably doesn't impress those paying her salary. As well as, even if she's pretty flaky when it comes to work, I could never dislike her. I guess that's probably because of her cheerfulness and her constant smile. Hey, glad to see you're still in fine spirits. How's your back doing then? Even with the medicine, it's not getting one whit better. According to the doctor, nothing can be done for this one. It's what you might call an incurable disease, oh. Anyway, Jessica-chan just keeps getting prettier. Good thing she takes after Natsui Nissan. Well, really? Personally, I don't think we look alike at all. I mean, I don't even want to be like my parents. because I got zero respect for him. I like the backgrounds, I like the character designs. And I know it may sound silly, but even just these red bars, how it has this... I don't even know what to call this design, but I like it. Now, you shouldn't say such things. I still stand by what I said before. Yes, I know it's not a good look for me, guys. It probably doesn't make a good impression, but I think this woman is very, very attractive. So, yeah, I guess we had to be a little bit creepy and inappropriate, but yeah. Just, yep. Giggle. Though there are quite a few people who don't want to be like their parents in our family. Ah, that's me. You sure as hell better not take after me. Your nose, looking like mine, already pisses me off. What are you talking about? You're surprising alike, you and your father. Come on, you can't be serious. Just how am I like Dad? You're a lot like him, especially in how arrogant and prideful you are. Father's blood is especially strong in you, Nissan. Wouldn't you say, Rosa? Oh, absolutely. Cross Nissan and Rudolph Nissan are almost unbelievably like Dad. Alright. Why am I the only one under fire from the girls? Hideyoshi Nissan, give me a hand, please. My, Rudolph-kun. You're always so popular with the ladies. I'm jealous. Whoa. Oh, as usual, you're popular enough to make me jealous. Well then, everyone. Shall we head over to the boat? Come now, Maria-san. Let's get on the boat together, okay? Get on the boat together? Ooh. Everyone gets on together. Ooh. Hell yeah. This time around, I'm not going to be scared. I'm used to being shaken by the waves. Until the boat transformed into a plane. And then a space shuttle. And then, for some reason, a giant Sonic the Hedgehog kaiju. With that piece of junk fishing boat, I'm less afraid of the shaking than the engine breaking down and the boat drifting off. Oh yes, Battler-kun, I forgot to tell you! That fishing boat was completely worn out, so it was taken out of commission a few years back. Now, we get taken to the island in a different boat. Oh right! It's Battler's first time in the new boat. It's super comfy and freaking fast. It can go at crazy high speeds. Oh? That means less travel time, right? That sounds great. Having to worry about sinking is less scary than being on a plane, but it'd still be awesome to get it over with as quick as possible. Ooh. Is Battler going to fall again? That's only on airplanes. Everything's fine now. Anyway, it's the captain's pride and joy. A kind of a modded high-speed boat. Seems he's got it pretty souped up. He was bragging about how he attached 4 base high-efficiency propellers to make it break 40 knots, or something like that. I don't actually remember how fast a knot is. I assume it's 1 knot is equal to 1 mile per hour. By the way, anyone like Sonic the Hedgehog? You know Tails, right? How his name is miles per hour? It's supposed to sound like miles per hour. So I've sorta memorized the spiel. He talks about it all the time. Yeah, I've got it memorized too, since we hear about it every year. The captain says he's been obsessed with modding ever since he lost a speed contest with a foreign boat ages ago. According to him, that opponent managed to break 30 knots with just a fishing boat. And his thirst for a revenge match got him to build an awesome all-new super high-speed modded boat. I'm sure you'll just love it, Battler. It's a super high-speed modded boat. My first thought that was this would be much better than some beat-up boat that might sink at any moment, but for some reason I got this feeling of foreboding. Probably just overthinking it. Hey Battler, maybe you should just swim to the island. Battler-kun, you shouldn't lean over the railing too much. You might fall. Ooh, fall. Damn it. So this is why you were all grinning back there. So this is the super high-speed boat that the captain started modding. Oh yes, that piece of junk fishing boat from 6 years ago doesn't hold a candle to this guy. Whoa, it's shaking. Gonna fall. Ooh, gonna fall. If I fall, I'll land in the ocean and drown. Where's the parachute? I mean, where's the buoy? Give me a life jacket. Whoa! Battler, what the heck are you doing that for? Whoa! Jessica-chan, Maria-chan, it's not nice to cheese. Battler-kun, if you're scared, then just don't come out on the deck. I think you'll be able to calm down a bit if you go inside the boat. That's a no thank you, Aniki. Shipwreck victims are always the one inside the boat. The survivors are usually those on the deck during the accident. So I'm staying right here. But it's shaking. I'm gonna fall. Whoa! Isn't that why they're handrails? Shake. Gonna fall. Woo. Maria, I told you to behave yourself. But, Battler-kun, it looks like you really can't handle it. I'll go tell the captain to slow down for you. Whoa, and Rosa, thank you. I can tell you now that safe, slow driving is definitely the way to go, even on the sea. Don't do that, Rosa. Trials and tribulations are important for young men. Isn't that right, Battler-kun? You'd better be able to overcome a little scare like this. Otherwise, you'll never be able to go to Egypt with your aunt. Whoa, Aunt Ava, you're so mean. Ooh, no, I'm gonna fall. Life jacket, parachute. Whoa! Oh wait, gotta spin it around and think that way. What's the enemy aiming for? Is he doing it to scare me? If that's what he's aiming for, too bad. Like hell I'll be scared. But no! I'm gonna fall! So after I made a huge fool of myself for a while, Aunt Rosa had a talk with the boat captain, and he slowed down to a more manageable speed for me. Huh. I mean, I really can't blame him. I have a terrible sense of balance, I don't like heights, and while I have ridden roller coasters and such things, I did not enjoy I mean, to some degree I enjoyed the experience, but I would not want to do it again. I've ridden a few roller coasters, but it was just me cussing a lot. Just not something I'm fond of doing. That's a bit better. Thought I was going to die earlier. Apparently the max speed I can tolerate is extremely slow. But that just now was completely insane. The whole boat was shaking, sliding and leaping in the ocean's surface. It felt like I was riding on the back of a flying fish. Jessica was still guffawing at me as I leaned against the railing, tired and disheartened. I lost in that strength contest earlier, but I'm glad to know I'm no worse off where it really counts. But seriously, damn it, go ahead and laugh. One of these days I'm gonna find your weakness and get back at you, and then your boobs will be mine to squish. Yeah, sure, good luck with that. Wah. Battler all weak. Yeah, Battler all weak. I want to die on land, not in the ocean or the sky. Maria was patting my back, so I patted her head in return. Her expression was blank as usual, but I realized that she wanted to console me. Battler-kun, the captain's throwing in drinks to make up for this. Would you like one to calm yourself down? George Aniki and Kumasawa Bachan brought us all ice-cold cans of soft drinks, covered with beads of water. Judging from Kurosawa-san's big grin, our parents inside the boat were probably all rolling around laughing at my moment of pure terror. Damn it, I'm so embarrassed. I can't bear to face any of them. If I didn't change the subject somehow, I had the feeling I'd be the butt of everyone's jokes for the whole trip, so I tried to... I accidentally pushed a button. Try to think of something harmless to talk about. Okay, so the... Huh. Hey, Jessica? How are Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsuhi doing? My old man and Mom? Unfortunately, they're fine. Though every other word out of their mouths is study, which pisses me off. I'm so jealous. Since it doesn't look like Uncle Hideyoshi or Uncle Rudolph would say such scary stuff like that. Haha, oh no. Before I had my exams, my parents kept pressing me about it over and over. I thought it was annoying then, but now I'm grateful. Ha, I knew it. You really are awesome, Aniki. Anyway, I have to look after myself. No one tells me what to do. Well, it's not like I'd listen if they did, hee. Battler-san, have you still not returned to your parents' home? Well, I kinda go back now and then. I've got lots of clothes and stuff left at the house I was living in until recently. Ooh? Battler has 2 houses? Something like that. Why? Why do you have 2 houses? Ooh? Only Maria, who couldn't really grasp the situation, voiced this naive question. However, the others just shot nervous glances at me, choosing not to respond even though they knew the answer. Maria? Look, you can see the harbor now. Look over there. Can you see it? Ooh. Saw the harbor. Apparently, Jessica was trying to be nice by changing the subject. Oh, well, I'd rather not talk about it if I can help it, but it's uncomfortable to have it treated like some kind of weird taboo. I don't mind it that much myself anymore. I may be a member of the Ushiromiya family, but the truth is that for these last 6 years I've been living with my grandparents on my late mother's side. And I've even been using her family name. When those grandparents passed away, one after the other, I basically had no choice but to go back and live with the old bastard. Don't get me wrong. I didn't just run away from home or anything like that. Do we ever get to see art of his mother and her parents? The only one at fault here is my dad. I don't really blame Kairi-san. Being able to hold that old bastard's reins and ride him out is no mean feat. Still, the way that old bastard betrayed my mom, well, unfortunately, I still haven't fully gotten over that. Ahem. We'll be getting there soon. George Aniki cleared his throat, trying to change the subject. Please forgive my indiscretion. It seems this old woman has said too much already. If I have hurt your feelings... I don't mind it, and no one's feelings are hurt. Don't worry, Kumasawa-bachan. Kumasawa-san seemed to regret speaking out of turn, but I was more concerned about being worried for something like that, so I stood up and passed it off lightly. After that, I had a sip of my drink and headed over to Maria and Jessica, who were gazing at the silhouette of the island. Ooh. Battler, I saw the island. Saw the island. There. Ooh. Where is it? Oh, I see it now. Even after 6 years, the island hasn't changed a bit. The small island's silhouette in front of us had gotten pretty close. This island is named Rakanjima. It's a small island about 10 kilometers. Do you guys say kilometers or kilometers? Located in the Izu archipelago. Since they call it this archipelago... Apparently I can't say that word worth a shit. Archipelago. The Izu 7 Lots of people think there are only 7 islands, but that's not true. There are actually several more, and Rakanjima is one of the minor islands that don't get counted. Even if that weren't the case, I doubt you'd find many people who knew about this island. Only people connected to the Ushiromiya family ever go there. In other words, outsiders and tourists never have any reason to care about it. So you never find this island's name in a travel brochure. After all of Rokajima's is an estate possessed by the Ushiromiya head family. Only the Ushiromiya family lives there, and only people connected to the Ushiromiya family come and go to and from there. There is nothing there except a harbor and a mansion. The vast majority of the island is still uncultivated forest. Now, I would ask everyone out there, would you like to live in such a place? But then again, I imagine most of you would have an answer very similar to mine, and that is, it'd kind of just be nice to be able to own a home, period. But hey, my apartment isn't bad, so. And provided you have the money to freely travel back and forth and have everything you need on the island, honestly, yeah, I mean, provided you have enough money to travel and not, be trapped there, and you have electricity and all the modern conveniences such as air conditioning and anime, then yeah, seems nice. There's nothing there except a harbor and a mansion. The vast majority of the island is still uncultivated forest. Such a waste, when it could be made into a nice golf course or something. However, when you realize that the entire coastline is a private beach, it starts to sound pretty magnificent. You've probably guessed by now, but to put it simply, well, the Ushiromiya family is just rolling in dough. The head family apparently possesses a vast fortune, and Dad and the others who make up the branch families have built up plenty of wealth for themselves, finding success in their respective businesses. I've been living a commoner's life at my grandparents' home these 6 years, so I'd completely forgotten. But the old bastard's house is really elegant, and everything about it is tuned to match the snobbish taste of the annoyingly rich. Come to think of it, I guess that makes George, Nikki, Jessica, and Maria and me wealthy, high-class gentlemen and ladies. Honestly, it doesn't sound bad. I kind of feel like wealth would actually solve most people's problems. And even if there's still things that make you sad, well, I'm sure there's something of, financial security and stability will at least help you deal with the other issues of life. That being said, everyone here is dressed so fancy. Needless to say, none of us think of ourselves that way at all. I don't see myself as being rich, and George Aniku takes self-discipline very seriously, doesn't let himself get too comfortable. Jessica's always complaining that she'd rather move to the city than be rich, and Maria is still a kid who isn't even interested in money at all. Does that attitude really make us any less snobbish? From the perspective of people in poverty who can't pay the bills, we really have been blessed with a lot. This isn't the place to explain any further, so I won't. Anyway, it's the same as not being able to choose the parents you're born from. I didn't ask to be born into a rich family, and I don't think it's really something to be envied. It can be pretty trying when people are prejudiced against you just because you're rich and refuse to judge you by your merits. As I pondered these sentimental thoughts, Maria started shouting and leaning over the railing. Ooh, gone? What's wrong, Maria? Did you drop something? Ooh, gone, ooh. Maria kept yelling, gone. At first it sounded as though she had dropped something, but while she shouted, she also pointed out over the ocean. What's wrong? What's gone? I'll look for it too, if you want. What is it? Oh, shit. If she'd dropped something, she would probably have looked down at the floor, but Maria was pointing out over the ocean. One would assume by that gesture that she had spotted something, but she kept saying that something wasn't there. Strange. However, since my last memories of this place came from 6 years ago, I was able to spot it before Aniki, who comes here every year. Huh? If I remember correctly, wasn't there a torii or something on top of a small crag around here? That's right, it was definitely there. I don't remember what that... I don't know what this word is. Torii. I remember it well, since as we get close to the island, it's the first thing to greet us, like a landmark. Wow, you're amazing, Battler. Even though it's been 6 years, you remembered. It was here, wasn't it? I remember, too. The tutelary god's shrine and the torii-like thing were standing all along on that crag, and now you mention it, they are gone, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they were still there last year. Gone. Maybe they were washed away by the waves or something. It was a small crag, so it probably got worn away over time. Well, that's my theory too. It was last summer that it disappeared, but they say an enormous lightning bolt came crashing down one evening and smashed the shrine. The fishermen whisper that having a thunderbolt fall upon our honored tutelary god must be a portent of approaching misfortune. Kuwabara. Kumasawa-san smiled impishly as if teasing us, rubbing her hands together while intoning a Japanese phrase meant to ward off lightning. However, Maria apparently took this seriously and stared fixedly over the ocean to where the crag housing the shrine god was supposed to be. A portent of misfortune? Ooh. Enough, Kumasawa-san. Maria isn't old enough to get that kind of joke. It's okay, Maria-chan. It's just a coincidence. Nothing scary's going to happen for at least 5 minutes. George and Nikki put a hand on Maria's shoulder to calm her down, but Maria's sharp-eyed expression didn't waver. Misfortune. Maria muttered that word over and over. Apparently repeating a single word over and over is a habit that Maria's had for a long time. However, since the word she was saying was literally an ill omen, it was a bit creepy. I don't know, there are some times, granted I'll talk to myself anyway, but there are some times where I will repeat a certain phrase or statement a few times, or ruminate over certain discussions that I've had in the past with people, trying to better understand what was discussed and any meaning behind that I may have missed the first time. Hey now, Maria. If you say it over and over like that, misfortune really will really end up happening, you know? I tapped Maria's other shoulder. Maria whipped her head around and stared into my face and spoke unblinkingly. Ooh, misfortune is coming. Huh? And just where is it coming from? I answered lightheartedly, trying to break the tension in the air. At that moment, Maria held up a finger, raised her arm up high, and pointed up to the heavens. When I looked up, I saw that the sky was still just as cloudy, but it had grown a great deal more leaden than it had been that morning. I like the music. That's right. They were saying that a typhoon was approaching. We had planned to spend one night on the island, but if this storm doesn't pass quickly, I won't be able to make it to school on Monday. Well, I guess it makes her a pretty good excuse to be absent. Ooh. She apparently sensed some kind of misfortune in this cloud's sky. She'd been muttering that non-stop for a while now. Girls at Maria's age tend to be very impressionable. She's just about at the age where many girls start to get excited about sixth senses and whether they have any psychic potential and stuff. For all we know, this might be due to her childish, sensitive nature. It's okay, Maria-chan. The weather might get worse tonight, but tomorrow it'll clear up and become a pretty blue sky. Ooh, pretty blue sky? Ooh. That's right, by tomorrow it'll be a pretty blue sky. Spoilers, guys! Even though I have not read this story before, I can already tell you, no it won't. There's no rain that doesn't end, and no clouds that never clear. I mean, technically there was a time, millions of years ago, where there was a giant rainstorm all over the planet for 2 million years straight. Ooh. Rain that doesn't end? Clouds that never clear? Ooh. I know the typhoon's coming, but soon it'll go away. It'll be okay, Maria. Ooh. Ooh. Maria started yelling, ooh, ooh. You know, I don't know if there's ever been an umineko anime. Apparently the author of Higurashi and Umineko was largely involved in the writing of the story for Silent Hill F, which, from what I've seen of the story to that, I am not impressed, but I am very, very much a fan of Higurashi, and I am greatly enjoying this story so far, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. And so far, I have felt nothing but good things about it. And of course, I like the music, I like the characters. So, oh well. Can't really fault Ryukishi if I don't really care for some of his work. After all, Nicolas Cage is one of the greatest actors to ever live, and he's made a couple movies that I didn't really like. But he's made plenty that I like a lot. What in the world is Maria trying so desperately to warn us about? Unable to understand her, we couldn't help but feel a vague sense of misfortune. I've heard that everyone can feel the supernatural, but that it weakens as you age. That might mean that Maria, the youngest one of us all, still possessed some kind of sense that the rest of us had lost. I wonder if that sense is sending her a warning. At that moment, Kumasawa-san quietly opened her mouth. Rumor has it that long ago Rakanjima was under the water? Kumasawa-san, let's not talk about that now. Just as Kumasawa-san was about to tell some kind of story, Jessica sharply interrupted her. Jessica's tone was extremely firm for her. I wanted to push her further, just out of simple curiosity, but judging by the look on Jessica's face, whatever Kumasawa-ba-chan was likely to say would probably make Maria even more uneasy. If I did try to press her for the story, the odds were pretty good that it wouldn't be anything bright and cheery. Oh ho ho, I do apologize about that. The wind here is hard to bear for the elderly, so if you would excuse me for now, gossipers have no reason to hang around after they've been told to stop chatting. When Kumasawa-san finally realized that she'd overstepped her bounds, she went back inside the boat. After she left, Uncle Hideyoshi showed up in her place. Since he had arrived mid-conversation, he completely failed to notice the complicated atmosphere that hung about the scene, so he refreshingly and unwittingly swept that atmosphere aside. So in the end, it was like his lack of tact that brightened the mood. Looks like we're almost there. Okay, just a bit more. Took forever at the speed we went today, didn't it? Wonder whose fault that was. Oh, Uncle Hideyoshi, give me a break already. Come on, don't stop there. Seriously, thanks to Battler here, it's taking forever. Ooh, Maria probably thought that everyone was refusing to listen to her. She hung her head, wearing a fretful expression. As she did, George and Nikki crouched down to meet her eyes and spoke to her kindly. Maria-chan, there's nothing to be afraid of, because we're all together. There's nothing to be afraid of if we're together. Go ahead and say it. Ooh, there's nothing to be afraid of if we're together. Yes. There's nothing to be afraid of if we're with each other. Ooh, that's right. Exactly what George and Nikki said. If we stick together, there never be anything at all to be afraid of. Right, Jessica? Yeah, no doubt about that. What George Nissan says is always true, Maria. Ooh, George Oni-chan, always true. Yes, I don't lie, so trust me. There's nothing to be afraid of if we're all together. Ooh, George Oni-chan doesn't lie. I trust you. There's nothing to be afraid of if we're all together. Ooh, not afraid. Maria jumped into George and Niki's arms and hugged him tightly. After Nikki patted her head, she jumped away. I don't remember what a hug feels like. I'm not sure if I ever will again. But hey! There's good stories to read. So yay! After Nikki patted her head, she jumped away again. Her facial expression had undergone a 180... You gotta say 180 or 180? 180 degree change. Turning back to normal, she was once again the ordinary Maria. Ooh, there's nothing to be afraid of anymore because we're together. Ooh. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. You look all better now. You're strong, and that's awesome. Ooh, I'm awesome. Hey now, what's going on here? Maria-chan didn't get seasick. God damn it. She sells seashells by the seashore. Fucking seasick. Did she? Haha, well, something like that. We'll be arriving soon. The harbor was already drawing near. I like that. The boat gave a big shudder. Welcome to Rockinjima. We do hope you enjoy your stay and this experience of a lifetime. Seems we've docked at the harbor. The boat driver came out and jumped to the pier with the mooring rope. A large man in a tuxedo was waiting there for us with a warm smile. I didn't recognize his face, but judging by his clothes, I guessed he was a servant of the Ushiromi head household. Welcome home, milady. You were so late in returning that I began to worry. Ah, thanks for caring. This moron got so scared we had to slow down. It was seriously annoying. Just shut up. Someday when the shoe's on the other foot, you'll remember this. At this rate, word will spread to the whole family, and I'll be the big conversation piece during dinner. Even without this, everyone be talking about me because of that 6-year gap, but now I've given them an even juicier topic. Damn it, why does the Ushiromiya head family have to live on this isolated island? In the meantime, the boat had finished its mooring. A small plank was lowered so that we could get down. One by one, our parents came up from inside the boat. You must all be quite tired from your long trip. Madame, please allow me to assist you. Thank you. It's been a while. Goda-san, how are you? I thank you for your concern. It is always my pleasure to serve. Battler-kun, isn't this your first time meeting Goda-san? If I'm not mistaken, you weren't working here 6 years ago, right? Indeed. So please allow me to greet him for the first time. It is an honor to meet you, Battler-sama. I'm pretty confident about my height, but you're huge! This is definitely our first meeting. I'd never forget meeting a big guy like you. It's a pleasure. I'm Battler. I was looking forward to meeting you. I am Goda, your servant, and I have been working for the Ushiromiya head family since the year before last. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. If there is anything you need, please feel free to rely on me at any time. Goda-san, it's been some time. It has been too long, George-sama. Please allow me to assist you. As usual, you're a pro at welcoming guests. If you ever need a job, just let me know, okay? I'd hire you anytime. You do me too much honor. Please allow me to assist you, Hideyoshi-sama. Goda-san then lent a hand to everyone as they disembarked, greeting them as they passed. His speech and mannerisms had the refined polish of a professional. He was very graceful in contrast with his initially tough-looking appearance. His large size made him seem a bit scary at first, but he was much more polite than my first impression had led me to believe. He claimed to have served on the island for 2 years, but he had doubtless worked at a similar job somewhere before. After everybody disembarked, the mooring rope was untied and the boat started to steer away from the harbor. It was probably returning to its home port on Nijima. The captain waved his hand in farewell. Maria conscientiously waved her hand back. Now that I think about it, that must be why I felt something out of place for a while now. I can't hear the cries of the seagulls. Seagulls? The birds? If I remember correctly, whenever we came to this island in the past, the seagulls always greeted us with their lively "nya nya" cries. Because of that, whenever I hear the cries of seagulls anywhere else, I get the feeling that I'm coming to a family conference. Except for the small part of the island where those of the Ushiromiya head family live, Rakanjima has been left uncultivated, which apparently makes it a paradise for wild birds. Supposedly there was a cliff somewhere that housed a huge seagull colony, so this island was always full of seagulls. Not having those seagulls here to greet us made me feel a bit lonely. What's wrong, Battler-kun? Oh, Aunt Rosa. Nah, it's nothing really. I was just thinking it's a bit lonely without the cries of the seagulls. My, that's true now that you mention it. Even though they're always so noisy. Today there isn't one to be seen. Ooh? Why no seagulls? Maybe it's because the seagulls are having it together somewhere too. Maria, do you want to see the seagulls? Ooh, wanted to see them. Still, it's a bit strange there isn't even a single one around. Maybe it's because of the typhoon. I mean, animals are really keen and aware of the environment and upcoming weather issues. Maybe Jessica grilled them all and ate them. Ooh? The hell, don't say such say disturbing stuff like that. You'll get Maria believing it. Ooh. Jessica Oni-chan grilled him. Jessica Oni-chan grilled them. Ooh. I did not. I did not. Why the hell would I do something like that? That's right. That's right. Jessica grilled him. Skin and meatballs, liver and onion. Swim in meat dolls. Is it just me? Or the facial expression she's making here doesn't... It just seems... Liver and onion. Ooh. As I made fun of Jessica, Maria tagged along looking like she was having fun. Oh, I never guessed she was such a good sport. Alrighty then, from today on I'll make you my #1 follower. As I smiled at her, she beamed, looking overjoyed, possibly because she was happy about this little connection we'd made with each other. That's not it, Maria-chan. I've heard wild birds are attuned to changes in the weather and atmospheric pressure. The weather will probably get worse tonight. The seagulls might have returned to their nests early. Ooh? Not grilled? Jessica Oni-chan didn't grill them? No, I wouldn't do something like that. Battler, you admit right now that you lied. Battler-kun, Maria-chan is a naive girl. So she takes even jokes seriously. You should choose your jokes more carefully. George Aniki gently scolded me, even though I outstripped Aniki in height. Aniki was Aniki, of course. There was no choice but to obediently apologize. Sure. My bad. Maria, that was a joke. The seagulls are all taking it easy in their nest day, that's all. Battler lied. George Oni-chan told the truth. Had she actually been tricked, despite all the fun she was having? Her pure eyes made me feel guilty. Maybe I went a little overboard with her after all. Yeah, that's right. What George Aniki said is true. The weather is bad, so they probably went home for the day. It doesn't mean they're gone. Right, Aunt Rosa? That's right. Tomorrow when the weather gets better, I'm sure they'll come back, so that we can hear them cry, meow, meow, like they always do. Meow. How do you guys make a seagull noise? Ooh. I'll wait until the weather gets better, and they come back. Gonna wait until tomorrow. Gonna wait until the weather's better. Ooh. Maria was in a lighter mood and was looking forward to tomorrow, when the seagulls would come back and fill the skies. Still, George Aniki really was amazing at taking care of kids. I think I remember Aniki taking good care of me as well when I was a brat 6 years ago. Aniki, that's probably your gift. George-kun is amazing at taking care of young kids. If you wanted to, I bet you'd do a great job in childcare, don't you think? Yeah, it's almost like George Nissan was born to do something like that. Personally, I think that'd suit you better than doing all that business in some company president's office. Oh no, childcare is a fine career path, but it's not a job where merely liking children is enough. You really are modest, George-kun, but Battler-kun is quite good with children too. Just a second ago, even though it didn't last long, Maria seemed to be having a lot of fun. Please keep on playing with her, like you did just now. Just choose your jokes more carefully, okay? Giggle. Aunt Rosa winked at me, giggling a little. She's a real mother, I thought to myself, who's happy to see Maria having fun. Come on, Rosa. And you brats too. What the hell are you doing? Let's get going. Okay, we're coming. The old bastard was waiting for us to hurry up. Yeah, we needed to get moving. We might as well have this conversation after setting our luggage down in our rooms. Now then, everyone allow me to lead you to the guest house, where you will be spending the night, please. This way, Goto-san called to everyone and led the way. Kumasawa-san brought up the rear. Yeah. A serpentine twisting... Yes, a serpentine or serpentine. twisting path led through a dim forest. It ran a bit uphill. I'd guess the path was made all twisty so the slope wouldn't seem too steep. But personally, I'd have been happier if they'd had the guts to make some stairs in a straight line. No doubt they made the path twist on purpose to put in airs of distance and importance. Before long, we saw garden-style stone steps. From here on, I do have some memories. Get up these and... At the top of the stone steps, we saw a beautiful guest house. But yeah, it'd be nice if there was probably an umineko anime, is there? I don't think there is. Its facade was lovely, of course, but more importantly, we couldn't enter its doors without having our hearts stolen away by the splendor of the beautiful rose gardens spreading before it. It's as beautiful as ever this year. A real delight for the eyes. After climbing the stone steps, the people greeted by this rose garden gave voice to their impressions one by one. Is it just me, or are the flowers a little less lively this year? It's probably because it wasn't that hot this summer. I also believe that was a factor. Sadly, this year's blooming is a tad inferior when compared to last year's. Even so, it was a delightful rose garden. I remember that even 6 years ago, huge numbers of roses had greeted us every year. This rose garden was the first thing that greeted the people who came to Rockinjima. Even our parents who came every year couldn't help but give voice to their admiration. In fact, it seemed to have undergone a power-up from the garden in my memory 6 years ago. This place is always so amazing. And I know I've said it several times. You guys are probably tired of hearing it. But I really do like the music. Also, the house looks kind of purple. That's neat. I like purple. Purple is not only, a color of royalty, but it's also the color of humanity, empathy, compassion. Heck, it's interesting to have a piece of artwork, but most of the colors are a darker shade, so that while it still technically has all the colors and it's the normal saturation, technically it's just a bit like, imagine it as 70% black, 25% red, and 5% purple. What can I say? I think black, red, and purple go together very well. Not that I'll ever have the money to dress fancy or shit like that. I'm just saying, I like the mix of those colors. Give it up. It would be wonderful to have a rose garden like this at home. Who do you think would take care of it? Roses are a real pain, with bugs and diseases to worry about. Well, from what I've heard, Kairi-Nissan takes care of her rose every day and makes sure no bugs get anywhere near it, right? Huh? What are you talking about? That's right. Though, in this person's case, the rose goes after the insects like some nasty carnivorous plant. Oh, so that's what you mean. Come on, Rosa. Can't you give that a rest just for today? I've put that sort of thing completely behind me. I wonder. After all, you're a womanizer on an almost genetic level. No need to worry, Rosa-san. When a rose gives you too much trouble, it's always best to snip it at the root. Oh, such frightening talk this is. Guys who are popular with the ladies are always forced to live dangerously. I sure hope I turn out a bit prettier in my next life. Hideyoshi-san, like I keep saying, it isn't like that at all. And Kairi, stop it, you're freaking me out. You've made my rose wilt. Hey, Maria-chan, look over here. These roses are especially magnificent. Magnificent roses. Ooh. Smells pretty sweet. Look, this suits my elegance perfectly. Hey, cut it out. Maria's going to imitate you and get hurt by the thorns. She yelled at me as I leaned in to smell the rose's scent with an exaggerated gesture. I thought she was overreacting, but when I turned around and saw Maria imitating my every gesture, and George and Nikki smiling broadly at us, hey now, Maria-chan, be careful. Rose thorns can hurt. Ooh? George Oni-chan, only this rose is strange. Ooh? Strange? What's wrong? Maria pointed at a single rose. I immediately understood why she found it odd. In the midst of all these magnificent roses, one single rose was just starting to wilt. There wasn't any particular reason. Some roses flourish and others wilt. That's all there was to it. But Maria seemed very concerned about the only unhealthy one in the group. It must have made her feel lonely. So you feel sad for this rose because it's the only one that isn't healthy? The others are all healthy, but this one's sad. Well, they all bloom and wither at their own paces. I'll bet this one's just starting to wilt early because it got to bloom before any of the others. Yeah, that's right. It probably just bloomed like crazy, fulfilled its duty, and went to sleep. You shouldn't get so worked up about it. Ooh? It seemed that Maria's pure, sensitive nature was making her feel some emotional pain for the rose that wilted alone. Even though she understood the logic of it, it still felt lonely to her. Then, Maria-chan, why don't you look after this rose until we leave? Ooh? George and Nikki straightened up and felt around in his pocket. He then took out the wrapper from the candy he had been sucking on the plane. He twisted it into a thin string and then gently tied it to the rose as a sort of marker. Hey, that's pretty cute. Let's mark it with this. Later on, you can come and give it some water. I'm sure Mr. Rose will be happy. Ooh, come to give it water. I think you should give Mr. Rose here a name. I'm sure that'll make it happy, and you'll get to know it a little better. A name? A name. Ooh. Though she still wore her usual sullen face, Maria crossed her arms and began to consider this intently. At the very least, she appeared to have been completely pulled out of her slump. Nice going, Nikki. George Nissan has always been really understanding. I decided I wanted that screenshot instead. Can't help but respect him. Yeah, I guess he was just born that way. We've got to start picking up tips. Was this garden just as magnificent when you all were kids? It was only after I stopped living here that it grew so big. Before that, the garden was simpler, though I'm still attached to that one. Nissan fiddled with it too much, with that vaguely bad taste of his. I liked it much better before. Ava, you've got to think positive. Setting aside how it used to look, its beauty now is something to be admired. You'll be able to relax a lot better if you look at it that way. I didn't mean it like that. I was just saying that I wanted you to see this garden the way it was before too. That's why cameras exist. Everyone, if you please. I shall guide you to your rooms now. Golda-san called to everyone to ask if we were ready. But our hearts had been completely stolen away by the rose garden that none of us had seen for a year. so we didn't pay much attention to him. Since we weren't a travel group, it wasn't like we had a strict schedule to follow. Besides, our parents were visiting their old home, full of nostalgia. It wasn't like they had to let themselves be urged on by anyone or anything. Understanding the situation, Goto-san continued to wait, smiling widely until our parents got tired of the roses and told him to guide us to our rooms. Oh? Hey, if it isn't Cannon-kun. It's been so long. How are you doing? Uncle Hideyoshi suddenly shouted. In the direction he was waving was a slender boy. Huh. That's neat. Everyone's like, stop caring about the color purple. Like, I like it. It's purple, and it's also just the general design of it looks nice. Meeting him right after a huge man like Goto probably emphasized his small stature. The boy was in the middle of transporting piled up gardening tools and the like in a wheelbarrow. When he realized he was being called to stop, he set down the wheelbarrow, took his hat off, and bowed his head. Good afternoon. I figured he was probably younger than me, and I realized by the general atmosphere surrounding him that he was another servant. He greeted us in response to Uncle Hideyoshi's call, but he seemed like he might be pretty unsociable most of the time. It was a greeting that lacked feeling. When Goto-san noticed that our interest had shifted towards him, he went to the boy's side and introduced him to us. Battler-sama, allow me to introduce you. This is one of the servants of the Ushirumiya head household. Cannon-san, greet our guests. I'm pleased to meet you. I am the servant Cannon. Yep, my first impression wasn't wrong. He seemed to be unsociable, or at least not so good at talking. Compared to Goto-san, who was extraordinarily polished as a servant, you couldn't help but feel an inexperience typical of his age. When Goto-san urged him in a whisper to give a bit more of an introduction, the boy named Cannon only cast his eyes downward. Cannon-san? Could you perhaps give them a little bit more of a greeting? No. Because we are furniture. He didn't seem to be refusing to greet us out of spite. Rather, he seemed to have fallen silent because he didn't know what else to say to us in greeting. But while Cannon-kun's shy and doesn't tend to talk much, he might not be that sociable, but deep down, he's really a good person. Don't get him wrong. You've been working here for 3 years, haven't you? Pretty sure you started a year before Goto-san, right? Even though he wasn't exactly giving a terrible first impression. Jessica hurriedly backed him up. I see, apparently his unsociable nature causes him trouble a lot. Okay then, nice to meet you. I'm Battler. I'm 18. How old are you? He fell silent, as though wondering whether or not it was a question he'd have to answer. But here again, Jessica plowed ahead. If I remember correctly, Cannon's 2 years younger than us, so 16, right? Yes, that is correct. It looked like he would have preferred not to tell us his age if given the choice. That was probably because he thought we'd look down on him for it. I remember that when I was around his age, I hated being asked how old I was by adults. I see, 16, huh? That's gotta be a delicate time, which means I probably asked something I shouldn't have. Haha, I'm glad you're about our age. Just be cool and call me Battler. And I'll call you Cannon. Thank you very much. But the sentiment alone is sufficient, Battler-sama. Jessica looked panicky for some reason. Okay. I'm sure there's some tragic, horrible reason for that, but we'll find out probably 50 parts from now. She seemed to think my impression of Cannon was getting worse because of his refusal. Well, as a girl, Jessica probably couldn't understand the fretful male heart at his age. At this age, as his elder, even by just 2 years, I took it upon myself to be understanding of that. Cannon-son, could you perhaps be a little more courteous? A smiling face is also part of a servant's duty. My apologies. I shall make an effort. Oh, Go-san, Cannon-kun is trying his best, yes? It looked like he was often warned about being unsociable, and apparently he hadn't improved one bit. Go-san kept his business smile, but let a small sigh of resignation escape. Well then, I still have work to do. If you'll excuse me. It looked like Cannon himself was uncomfortable with remaining silent here any longer. After another perfunctory bow, he turned around and started pushing the wheelbarrow again. Just then, the wheelbarrow suddenly wobbled and fell, scattering the load. I guess the wheelbarrow's single wheel got caught on a pebble and lost its balance. What do you think you're doing? Now, clean it up quickly. Go-san urged him to hurry in a quiet voice, as though hinting that it was shameful for a servant to appear clumsy in front of guests. He's human! Shit happens! Heck, I feel like my initial response, like, if I see somebody, like, knock over their shit like that, I'd be like, hey, are you okay? Because, like, I know what it's like to, like, you're pushing something and you lose balance of it. Yeah, the wheelbarrow fell over, but half the time I'm doing that, I'm going to fall my own ass over. Or at the very least, strain my leg trying to not fall over. But I mean, or maybe I'm just, understanding of this just because I feel like I'm in general a bit clumsy and tend to have bad luck myself. So, Cannon-kun wordlessly reloaded the wheelbarrow with the fallen objects, as if to say he understood quite well without being told. He seemed to be fine with the light-looking gardening tools, shovels and such, but he looked like he was having trouble getting his arms around lifting up some sacks of fertilizer. Are you okay? You're so careless. Here. Milady, you will dirty your garments. Please leave this to us. With a smooth motion, Go-san took the shovel that Jessica had picked up. Behind him, Cannon-kun was having trouble with the sacks of fertilizer. Ooh, you'll dirty your garments. Don't worry, the ones I'm wearing aren't that expensive. Besides, I hate guys who just sit there and make the waitress pick up the fork they dropped at a restaurant. I lifted up the other bags that had fallen. Of course, they weren't light, but for me, it was a piece of cake. Cannon-kun looked at me surprised. It was the face of someone who never would have expected to receive help from a guest. But Battler-sama, don't worry about it. I will take care of everything, so don't you worry. I may not look it, but I've got it where it counts. Since Cannon-kun looked like he hadn't yet gone through his growth spurt, he was stuck with a sort of weak body. This kind of weight might have been too much for him. It's quite heavy. It's natural that it would be difficult for you. Don't worry about it, Cannon-kun. I mean, I get that we're trying to help him, and I would do the same thing, but I kind of feel like, it's a mix of things. On the one hand, after all, it's not like I'm going to be here all the time to help with the wheelbarrow, but, this thing fell over. I want to help, because it's kind. Because I imagine it would make the other person feel, not hated? Is that the best way to put it? Acceptance? Concern? That they're cared about? After all, you were saying earlier that he felt like he was just furniture, so he feels like he's just property and not a person. So, maybe it's just acknowledgement by the people that are the guests, like, hey, you're human. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's not like any of us, it's not like our lives are more important than yours. we all have different jobs in life. We're not looking down on you or anything. And in general, it's just a bit of kindness and courtesy. Now, granted, it doesn't really accomplish anything other than just trying to make the other person feel better. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe, like, the only thing I'm having a problem with here is that the worry that, you know, with us talking about how heavy this stuff is it going to hurt his feelings that he's like we're calling him weak? Because I feel like it might hurt Cannon's pride a little bit. So on the one hand, I want to be kind to him, and I want him to feel like, hey, you know, we value him as a person, and we appreciate him, and want him to feel that he's not hated and he's appreciated, but at the same time, I don't want him to feel, you know, inferior or insufficient or damaged. So it's like, that's the main thing is I'm wanting to do this thing to help him with the wheelbarrow, because I'm wanting to make his feelings feel better, because I don't want him, you know, to feel miserable. But at the same time, I don't want it to make him, you know, I don't want to hurt his feelings either. I'm trying to make his feelings feel better, but I'm worried that this could be taken in a different way that would hurt his feelings. So, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. Okay, my time to shine. This makes up for the boat stuff from earlier before, right? Ha! As if this can make up for the freaking out like that. Ha ha ha. Later I'll tell you about it too, Cannon-kun. Battler was totally hilarious. Gonna fall, ooh. That is a big-ass house. As I did this, I piled all the stuff back into the wheelbarrow. I beg your forgiveness for letting you witness such unsightliness. Hey! Dude, it's okay. We're all human. I'm just glad I haven't fallen down my fucking staircase and died. Come now, that's quite enough. Please go. Letting the guests who were supposed to feel welcome see such a disgraceful thing. What, somebody being human? Oh no! Oh no, what's this, Cannon? You're not perfect. Oh wow. None of us are. It's like, you're not perfect, Cannon. Neither am I. Must have been hideously embarrassing for a servant. That being said, as many times I have tripped and fallen, it is still very embarrassing every time. And I tend to feel very bad toward myself. And sometimes I'll say very, very mean things to myself in my head, but that's more so a reiteration of other people having said really bad things to me in the past, and that hurting my feelings. And then, of course, me not exactly making that feel better by having it just sort of heck, it's like, in general, I'm nice to everybody, except myself. But then again, I don't count as a person, so, Pressed by Goda to hurry up and go, Cannon-kun left. You're too harsh on him, Goda-san. Shouldn't you have helped him instead of being a bully? That was wrong of me. I deeply implore your forgiveness. Without even a twitch in his smile, Goda-san apologized elegantly. Cannon-kun has a ton of things he's good at, too. It's just that being young works against him all the time. It's a crying shame. Well, it's a prickly age. Let's just leave him be. After all, closed-mouth servants are the best kind. Isn't that right, Kumasawa-san? Oh, Rudo-sama, you truly are harsh. There is no servant as silent as me, of course. Everyone smiled wryly at that obvious lie. Even she herself didn't believe that, not in her wildest dreams. So she must have said it to lighten the mood. She was being sarcastic. Or is it facetious? Well, no. It'd be sarcastic. Facetious would be you're making a much more of an overt joke about it. And then there's sardonic, but it's if you're being sarcastic, but there's a bit of added, I don't know, being a fucking dick about it. Yeah, that's the kind of character Kumasawa Ba-chan used to be. The once stiff atmosphere had cleared up at once, thanks to her cheerful smile. I'd like to set our luggage down soon. Again, that's a big house. It probably is really expensive to heat that thing. Does it even have heating? Or is it just a bunch of wood stoves? Because I imagine it's really, really old. It probably takes so much time and effort to care for all these plants. I mean, just the bushes, let alone the rose garden. I'd like to go to son. What rooms are we all going to take? It shall be the same as the previous year. Allow me to guide you, please, this way. We headed towards a trim, elegantly simple guest house. This was going to be our temporary quarters for the night. Ellipses, but really long ellipses. Cannon watched over a hedge as the guests all entered the green guest house. Then he let his eyes fall on those heavy sacks of fertilizer piled up in the wheelbarrow. In his mind, he kept going over his previous mistake. Battler, big and strong, had picked up the sacks in front of him. The sacks Cannon couldn't lift himself, as if they were feathers. It would be extremely difficult for an outside observer to guess what emotions that favor had stirred up in Cannon. But as far as you could tell by watching him hang his head, there was something that he just couldn't let go of. Muttered words escaped his lips, but those words he murmured were so soft they didn't even reach his own ears. Even I. Cannon hung his head, slightly biting his lower lip. I remember the rose garden, but I don't remember this guest house at all. Was it built recently? Terrarian, Visitor's Retreat, was written on a gatepost-like thing, but since everyone called it the guest house, I followed their lead. The brand new Western-style guest house, which stood overlooking the roses, had a magnificent design, carefully done in harmony with the garden. Correct. It was built in the year before last. Ever since then, they've had us sleep over here. This place is more fun than that junky old mansion you knew. I wish my room was over here. Ooh, I want a room here too. I want one. I guess you could say my own house was upper class, but to me it felt completely ordinary compared to the head family. The display of wealth was shocking, as was the fact that they built this kind of awesome guest house for guests who came only a few times a year. Eva-sama, Hideyoshi-sama, please do make use of this room. Rudolph-sama, Kairi-sama, please take this room here. I really do love how beautiful and elegant this place is. Western-style architecture truly is wonderful. I can handle Western design for a few days, but any longer than that, you need the good old Japanese look. Japanese people just relax best on tatami mats. Why? Just, like, I have a queen-size mattress for my bed. I like it a lot. It is soft and comfy. And I have fuzzy blankets and soft blankets. And I have a big box fan. It's running right now on low. I basically have it on at all times, even in the winter. Though, when I go to sleep, I'll have it turned up to medium. Though I'll never turn on high because the whole fan basically shakes like crazy. It's like, they've been fighting over whether to make our new house Japanese style or Western style. Mom still holds a grudge about Dad having the construction started with a Japanese layout, and they bicker all the time about it. I'm really jealous, Georgie-san. Your parents get along well, don't they? Honestly, I don't think I'd really care what style the house I live in. I mean, as long as it's comfy. But I do think I would be particular about, like, certain things, like my bed, for example. I want the bed to be comfy and have plenty of room. Mine are so frosty. Then again, they're always in sync when it comes to my grades. All the rooms seem to be for 2 people. I was grateful since I wasn't going to be forced to share the same room with the old bastard under the pretext that we were a family. And anyway, I figured those 2 wouldn't be able to enjoy themselves with someone like me around. What's with that creepy smile? You're thinking about something dirty, aren't you? Something dirty? Of course not! Please enjoy your stay. Ow! 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 That hurts, you old bastard! Once again, Dad pulled my ears behind. Cut the crap. I'm getting a stomachache and I'm not in the mood for this. You're the guest of honor this time around, so play as nice as possible with Dad and Aniki and the rest. At the very least, be careful what you say in front of Dad, got it? Because wisecracks don't go too well with him. Jessica-chan, what's the head's mood been like lately? Same as last year, I guess. Considering they say that he's got 3 months left to live, he's as lively, grumpy, and irritable as ever. Meaning this year, he's in his usual bad mood? And as usual, the only one who's able to look after him is Genshi-san? It seems that the master will open his heart to no one else. Lately, us small people have not even been granted an audience with him. He's shut himself up in his study again? Probably doing nothing but that weird black magic of his. How would you guys feel if you were rich, but, you know, you were like part of a family like this, and the head of your family did like black magic shit? What he does for a hobby is his own damn business, but when he starts stinking up the house, it really gets on my nerves. I wish he'd never come out of that study again. He's probably in there dead. You shouldn't talk like that about the elderly. We're all indebted to him since he rebuilt the Ushiromiya family. We should be more grateful. By the way, interesting story about the old Hebrew churches or temples in the past. There were certain sections of the church that certain people couldn't go to, and certain places were considered more holy. So, like, there was a part where, like the head priest could only go and no one else could go. To the point that anytime the head priest would go in there, he'd have a rope tied around his waist. So in the event that he would, like, die or have a heart attack or something, people could just pull the rope and drag his corpse out of there. Because, you know, they weren't allowed to go in and physically carry him out of the place. I imagine if the rope fell apart, then you just have to wait for, you know, there to be a new head priest. And then he could, like, tie a rope to that person. I mean, you need 2 ropes at that point. You need a rope to be tied around the new head priest, and the rope for him to bring for them to drag the corpse of the previous guy out. Well, sorry. After being rebuked by George Niki, Jessica had no choice but to take back her thoughtless remark. The Ushiromiya family was wealthy beyond belief, but of course that meant all its members were a bit strange and completely out of touch with the world at large, and at the top of the chain the family head, our grandfather, seemed especially strange and terrifying, even for our family. Dad said he was getting a stomachache earlier, and I imagine that reflected the honest feelings of all the adults here today. No doubt they were just jealous of us grandchildren who could just play around and laugh without a care. From the stories Dad told me, the family head was a violent man who ruled with his fists, beating his children, even his daughters, mercilessly with a wooden sword. If he was so strict and uptight about that, why couldn't he have been a little more conservative with his kids' names? Because of that, even us grandkids have had to suffer. Anyway, I can't say I have any trouble believing those terrifying stories about him. I don't remember meeting him very often, but I think I recall him looking extremely grumpy all the time, always making people cower with that sharp gaze of his. I remember that room's atmosphere got so tense whenever he was around, you couldn't even breathe. What my dad said about me being the guest of honor now carries a little more oomph for me. 6 years ago, I was in elementary school, but I'm a high schooler now. If I act up, things could get serious. Ooh, scary. He does look frightening, but he's not so terrifying that you need to tense up like that. Nothing of what he says is truly unreasonable. He may be clumsy at talking, but he's a very logical person. But George Nissan, you've been the family darling since like forever because of your awesome grades, right? Grandfather treats us completely different. I've even gotten slapped with a wooden sword on my ass. My ass! On my maidenly innocent ass! Well, you're the heiress of the head family, Jessica-chan. Grandfather is giving you special attention. You've got to realize that his strictness reflects his high hopes for you. Oh, come on. Seriously? I could just turn the succession over to you, George Nissan. It's a bit of a heavy burden for me to carry. I think I already said it before, but Jessica's the girl heir to the head family. We're only cousins and branch families, so she probably feels a totally different sort of pressure than we do. Ooh? Jessica Oni-chan, is that heavy? If I help hold it, will it get lighter? Thanks. It's okay, I'm not gonna go push on you, Maria. I'm gonna bear this cross until my grave. Don't worry. She was grateful for Maria's innocent concern, but Jessica's face still seemed to contain some of the uneasiness she felt towards the future. Maybe we were in the same boat. Any high schooler with exams approaching would have trouble hiding their anxiety for the future. Maria, come here. You and I will be in this room. Battler-kun, I heard you're going to be with me in this room here. Oh. Now there's a surprise. It's bigger than our parents' room. Dang. Well, I figured we cousins would all want to hang out together, so I told them to get a bigger room ready. Ooh, I like it here more too. I'd rather hear more than Mama. Ooh. Oh, you like it better here too, Maria. Okay, this room is George and mine's, but we'll give you special permission to come in and visit. Better keep it a secret from your mom, okay? Ooh, it's a secret. Aunt Rosa was right behind us, but Maria still answered, striking the air with her fist, clenched tight. After setting down their luggage in their rooms, our parents had gathered again in the corridor. Hey, what are you brats planning to do? Are you cousins gonna stay here and chat? It seemed that they were heading into the mansion to announce their arrival. Normally they would make us follow them and greet everyone together, but if that had been the case, Dad would have just told us to come, and that'd be the end of it. He's saying it's okay if we don't come, so what'll we do? Well, it's gonna be lunchtime before long anyway. Better let the kids unwind here. Besides, if worse comes to worse, This might be their last chance to play outdoors. Huh? I'll go too. Yeah, there is a typhoon coming. Maria? You house sit for Mama, okay? Behave yourself and wait here. Since Maria was being told to house sit here, we certainly couldn't leave her on her own. George and Nikki noticed this immediately and gave a clear reply to all of us cousins. Well then, we'll accept your offer and house sit. We've got lots of stories to tell each other after being away for a year. That sounds wonderful. And Battler Coon has 6 years worth of stories to tell, doesn't he? Yeah. I'll take care of the house like a good boy. Kumasawa-san, I'm gonna stay here too. We'll break rank and leave the rest to the adults, eh? Perhaps that would be for the best, oh? I'll report it to Madame. Then allow me to guide you all to the mansion. This way, please. The other children are one thing, but George is getting to be an adult. Wouldn't it be better if he came with us? If we make him come, then poor George will be the only one out of place. Interacting with his cousins is also important. Okay, see you later. The adults left one after the other. They left in the same formation as our trip from the harbor, with Goto-san leading the and Kumasawa-san taking up the rear. As we gathered in the room assigned to us cousins, George and Nikki asked us to excuse him for a second. He rushed over to Kumasawa-san, who was following behind the disappearing adults, and seemed to ask her something. He soon finished his business and came back. What's up, Aniki? Nothing. I just wanted to ask her something. Ooh? And nothing bad came of that or of this trip ever. And everything was perfectly fine. And everyone lived happily ever after. The end.